Hi, great afternoon. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 21 of Brewing Live. Filling your digital cup with great stuff. Brought to you by Decaf Coffee Republic. Of course, the home of certified life coaches here in the Philippines. All right. And now going global. How exciting is that? All right. Our physical space is located inside Pioneer Center or PC along Pioneer Road corner, Brixton in United Streets, Capitolio, Pasig City. Decaf Coffee Republic is open daily. Ayan, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. only because of the pandemic situation. But coaching services, ayan, on demand is still open or is still accessible 24 by 7. So any time of the day and any day of the week, just connect with us through 0917-586-1661. And Brewing Live is a 30-day exploration journey. All right. So I know every one of you is already familiar with what we are doing here. That aims to fill your digital cup with great stuff and ignite your space with opportunities for impact income and influence. All right? Ulitin po, three things: impact, income, and influence. We started the journey last September 1 of this year only, okay? And you can watch the replay of the past episodes at Decaf Coffee Republic FB page. Ayan, Life Coach Philippines FB page and in Coach AI Connect. Ayan, in YouTube channel. All of that can be found when you search the name that I have mentioned. Again, the group that you can search is Decaf Coffee Republic FB page, Life Coach Philippines. It is also an FB page, and Coach A I Connect is a YouTube channel. Again, thank you for joining. I really appreciate you giving your afternoon with me. I know it's currently medyo mainit. Currently, it's really a sunny day outside and I'm really enjoying it. And please, if you think the topic that we have for today, I know that there are a lot of people, there are a lot of workmates, friends, loved ones that really can connect to this topic, and please do them a favor by tagging them and do tag them in the comment below and share, or maybe if you want to share this link to your timeline and FB groups so that we can reach more people and help transform lives during this time of uncertainty, because clearly at this point it is really something that we can do. We can really share not just the bad news but educational tools that we have. All right, this project of course is in partnership with Coach A Coaching Club, which has because as a club we have a mission, which is to create massive impact by turning your talents into income and influencing people through the or your chosen domain, territory, and stuff like that through the platform of life coaching. Batch one of Coach A Coaching Club is now on fourth month. All right. This endeavor is our community service after completing 12 weeks. Yes, you heard me right. We already performed 12 weeks of that. And batch two is now ongoing. And if you are currently, you believe that you are really interested to know more about the club and how you can be part of the Premier Club, all right? If you want to share it also with others, or you know someone who might be interested to be joining with you and journeying with you in this Premier Club, please don't hesitate to contact us through 0917-586-1661. All right? For today's topic, ayan, I will share with you itong one of the great topic that we have that I have posted, which is entitled What I Can Tame in Anger. All right. So, again, everyone, I believe that this is somewhat the best time for us to grab some drinks, maybe some coffee. But I really encourage you at this moment in time to grab your pen, paper, or maybe just share it with your seatmates. Or if you're working from home, please don't hesitate to share it in your own timeline. I know, I'm definitely sure that today's education will not just be relevant to the person who's receiving it, but again to everyone. Imagine this, all right? Imagine the picture that you are holding or sharing something and you want to bless others with the message that we have. All right. Our official hashtag for our today is again, pack my bag moment. I know my fellow coaches ayan, and entrepreneurs are already very familiar with this one. And also Decap Brewing Live. So it is something that we partnered every day as we watch a Decap Brewing Live that is happening in each day of September. But I want to add, if you want something to bless others, or if you want to really ask something or empower something through the hashtag blessed to bless and what I can tame in anger, please do so. All right. So maybe most of you are asking, Coach, why would I need to ask relevant information or share this information to the things or the person that I want to share it? Remember this one, the things we share today will benefit not only today's recipient, all right, but also to the next generation to come. Coming that into place, it is really important for us to see the beauty in sharing, that we are not just transferring something to our workmates, to our family, or even the small child in your house. Like I do, like I will have my son few months from now. So I am imagining now that even though that kid or that person doesn't understand what am I sharing now, the question is what it is that we want to communicate with them, the time that they can be able to read, to write, and to understand. So again, there's really something better and really good when we do sharing. So please don't hesitate to use again our hashtag pack my bag moment, the Decaf Brewing Live, blessed to bless, and what I can tame in anger. So as we start, I know every one of us, all right, is really familiar of who we are and what we do as a certified life coach. But before that, let me share to you who am I and what I do. All right. So by the way, I am again Ed Kimuel Ramos, a husband, of course, to my dear, sexy, beautiful wife, Rachel Joy, and a soon-to-be dad to my beloved son, Elijah Andres. By the way, for those who aren't know me, maybe this is the first time that you're viewing this. My wife is already 7 months pregnant, and I'm excited. Like my the son that we will be having is really like a spark of hope to us, that God is truly amazing that He blessed us with that kind of opportunity in the midst of this uncertainty. If in the process of that, I believe having that son is one of the things that ako personally would really sparks hope in my life during this time. All right? And of course, I am a servant of God's ministry, young professional or yung mga singles dyan in CCF. And also, I am a certified, of course, certified life coach from the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneurs located in Dallas, Texas, USA, which is, by the way, a bona fide institute for mental wellness in USA. And this is something to look forward here also in the Philippines as we move and further along with our practice. And lastly, I am a certified network professional. Opo, ako po ay isang CCNP and an IT consultant with a company that caters managed care sector and is part of Fortune 2019. Ang si Fortunes po, itong list po na to is have the list of world's most admired companies. And I'm really, really excited to share this also to everyone that our company maintains 9 straight years as being number one on our sector of being a managed care sector in the whole wide world. All right. So enough about me. If you want to share where you are watching right now, what do you do, or what it is that comes in your mind when you think of the word anger, stuff like that, please do comment below. I believe Our certified life coaches are more than willing to read and respond to your comments. Or if you have question, I will try my best to get back to you as soon as I can. All right? So the question, the first, I think, question I want us to reflect on for tonight is, how many of us believes that every emotions are a beautiful gift from God? All right. So I know most of us would agree that, of course, joy is a gift, because it is something that is, when you think of joy, you feel like you're just happy, you're just flowing on something. But let me ask this: how about fear? How about disgust? Maybe sadness, of course, or even anger. Do you think this emotion, this state of emotions, are also gifts that we want to really cultivate, nourish, and really appreciate during this time? All right. So tonight, I would like to seek, for those who are watching, ayan, alam ko hindi lang ako dito yung merong child at heart who watch this. Ayan. Movie, Inside Out. Ayan, as I mentioned kanina, we talk about disgust, we talk about fear, we talk about joy, we talk about sadness, and we talk about anger. So this is 5 state of emotions that you can have. Pero ito lang, when I watch this movie for the very first time, ang usual question ko kasi that time, why is that it instead of happy there is joy? So I know a lot of us, not only me at the certain ground, would really think of that maybe happy is also a state, of course, but joy is staying that kind of calmness, of that kind of vibrant, of overflowing happiness as well, in spite of disgust, fear, sadness, and anger. And that's what we are going to discuss today. But now, our focus is all about, ayan, Mr. Anger, or Miss Anger, Mrs. Anger, or Sister Anger, or Sir Anger, whatever anger looks like in your space right now. All right? Let me give this time, right, to really encourage everyone that if you think that, again, this video, or gusto mong may maayos tayo na something that we could help on upon, you can really share this to them, like this is educational. Maybe you're thinking of Mr. Miss Anger, or si pinsan kong Anger, si workmate kong mahilig sa anger, si boss kong sobrang favorite ang anger. It is something that would help not only us but in different aspect of our lives. But now, I would like you to take this well opportunity, all right, to talk about, ayan, let's talk about you and your anger. All right? So kanya-kanya po itong process. This process belongs to you. Please take this time, own it. Like, tell yourself, tap yourself right now. If you're watching, come on. Let's talk about you and your anger. All right? Just do your thing, share it to others, and maybe if you want to have sharing of thoughts right after or in a comment below. But now, please allow yourself to have this moment to understand your anger. All right? So, as we move forward, as we believe that we want to talk about our anger, your anger, my anger, or every anger, as long as it is something that is really constrained on self. It it is something that, as we progress, we will understand what are the different categories, stuff like that. But focus on what I can tame in anger. Again, maraming salamat po. I really would like to acknowledge Master Coach A. I know you're watching, Master Coach. Ninang, so thank you for this wonderful opportunity to allow me to use yung drip content po natin to, by the way, in Coach A Coaching Upskills Blueprint. So if you are part of Upskills, you have na-receive mo to nung May of this year. And really, when I received this drip content, it took a while before I really have the strength to really showcase ano ba talaga yung anger and how can we really understand and tame and stay cool in the midst of being anger. Because I believe, for the viewers out there, that I am that one person as well. Like, I grew in an culture of shouting or expressing oneself. Yung sobrang thin lang po nung difference ng anger sa expression. Minsan, alam mo yon, yung so much energy, yung pala parang passionate pero parang anger na yung dating. But it is something that we need to understand yung mga manifestation. So tonight, this afternoon, sorry, we will be sharing with you the I, which stands for identify, C, that stands for categorize, and A stands for attaining deepness, and of course, neutralize in terms of how we can do in taming in anger or anger. All right. Shall we start? Let's first identify. All right. You can search it in the Google search engine, by the way. But anger is a noun, a strong feeling of annoyance, ayan, displeasure or hostility. The other identification that I sought is it is a strong feeling of being upset, ayan, or annoyed. Ayan. Usually at this time, you will think even small things annoyed you, like I wasn't able to get up in my alarm clock. I wasn't able to brush my teeth before I go to something else, or I wasn't been able to do something more relevant. Even small things can be a spark of that identity of anger because of something went wrong or bad. The feeling that makes someone want to hurt people. Worst comes to worst, the result of being anger, the manifestation of being anger is hurting other people. And even by shouting, verbal anger, stuff like that. It is something that I really want to address, even to myself right now, because sometimes because you just want to express yourself like willingly. Sometimes you overflow with that feeling that is not good, of course, and you tend to would like to hit yung sumusuntok po sa pader, yung pumapalo sa table, stuff like that. And all of that just to express that high feeling of being upset and even frustrated. All right? And as we identify it, my question with you now is amidst of given identification of what is anger, I would really be interested for you to share what does anger means to you right now. All right? Just erase all of the identification. If you are having this emotions for the quite some time right now, I want to understand what does anger means to you. If you can share a picture of anger or just one word, maybe when you feel this, you identify or you relate it to anger, what is that situation that you have in mind? So we can really dive into it, see if we can really work on it through a live coaching platform. All right. So as we move, let's proceed with categorize. All right. So it is important for us to understand as after we identify is to categorize what we have identified. So there are two categories of anger that I am be presenting to you this afternoon. First is people-oriented. Ayan, anger. Is that anger is directed at other people. Ayan. This is often very unhealthy, causing a lot of emotional distress, harm, and problems. And most of the time it results to heartache. And but it is something that again it is directed at other people. It's like an external, you put it on external in terms of you want to verbalize it, you want to like judge person or judgment, anger, stuff like that. You directed it to someone. All right, in the second part, it is self-directed anger. Ayan. Coach, ano naman ang self-directed anger? Self-directed anger, more of you. Ayan, ako naman. Than the first one than the other people. It stems from an internal sense of dissatisfaction you have within yourself. So this form of anger is often again unhealthy. And ito yung minsan pinagsisimula ng internal turmoil. Ayan. So it is really important for us to really have that kind of understanding about it. Or as we proceed, we have to have the understanding or attain the deepness. All right? Attaining deepness will give us, kanina, di ba? We already identify kung ano ba yung anger sa'yo. Tanggalin mo yung meaning. Ano ba talaga yung anger sa'yo? But if you want to relate it to the deeper meaning, you can really relate that. And afterwards, we categorize with people-oriented anger and then self-directed anger. Pero the deepening of the process is what we are really would like to share as a life coach. It's really seeing the blind spot where we can dive in. So attaining deepness will not just give you understanding kasi mostly masaya na tayo sa understanding. Oo, galit ako. O, tapos na yung usapan, galit ako eh. Kumaga, we are not really intentional of knowing. Sometimes we are intentional of expressing na galit tayo. But it is another word that we are intentional in knowing in really familiarizing or familiarization with the situation that would lead to definite and absolute anger. All right? Gusto ko tong i-share sa inyo. One of the quotes that I have read dun sa drip content that of course Master Coach A have shared is managing your anger will become far easier, simpler once you understand and familiarize yourself with how anger tends to be manifested in your life. All right, let me repeat that. Managing your anger will lead to an easier and simpler if you understand and familiarize yourself on how anger tends to be manifested in your life. All right. So again, as I encouraged you earlier to please grab some water. Ayan, maybe you need the water or coffee right now. Kahit medyo mainit, medyo we have a sunny afternoon this time because it is really time because I will be sharing with you and some of things that you can really ask yourself to have a definite reflective time to have an engagement in terms of intentional knowing what is anger to you. All right. So if you are ready, all right, please again grab a pen, a paper, a notebook, maybe on your phone. Maybe you can screenshot this. Please do so. Don't I really allow everyone to really, even if you want to grab a copy of this part, please just let me know. I would love to share the knowledge that I have with you. All right. For our first reflective questions, we have which of these categories of anger have I experienced in the past? All right. So knowing that, ano ano ba yung mga experience in terms of people-oriented, ulitin ko, people-oriented categories, which talks about external or self-directed anger, which talks about internal or self-inflicting. So based on this, just think of one situation you have right now. I know you're really fond of doing this creative thinking or thinking something that is of a picture or a situation that happened in the past. And then afterwards, what specifically triggered each anger? All right? During the course of that situation. Alam ko masasabi of some, may mga situation talagang kagalit-galit. Yung alam mong kahit naman sino magagalit when you experience this. All right, hold it right there. But what we are really trying to really digest right now is specific triggers. Ano ba yung mga specific na talagang pag ito nararanasan ko, it is a challenge for me. Yung mapapakagat ka talaga at manggigigil ka, yung alam mo yung ito talaga yun eh. Ito talaga yung nakaka-trigger sa akin kapag ito nangyari. I'm really, really feeling that kind of anger already. And next one, how did I express each anger? All right? Or that anger. If you're thinking just one, how did I express that anger? Okay? Okay. And if you are sharing the comment below right now, please do know that I will be loving to read all the comments. But if not, I really truly respect your space. And when you are ready, please know that we, your certified life coaches, and your CMs and your senior coaches are really, really, really joyful to help you in this process. All right. So next, how did this make other people feel? All right. After learning your experience, what triggered it? How did you express it? How did the other people feel? It is whether the people is directly receiving it or into the space where you are expressing it. So how did this make other people feel? So you can really share. Etong part na to, you can really write again in a pen and a paper so we could really see and to have attain deepness of understanding about your anger. Next is, how did this make me feel? All right. So coach, yung anger ba, it is something that is felt already, tapos anger na yun. So please understand at this moment that there is intricacies of feeling that leads to anger. It is something that, what, ano bang naramdaman mo? Medyo gusto mo bang manapak? Alam mo yung may result na parang gusto kong, I want to shout. I want to like um close my face and punch the wall. I want to eat. I want to do something, stuff like that. So how does this make you feel at this moment? You can write it down or your piece of paper. And lastly, of course, how will I do things differently in the future? All right. So I know there are a lot of people, a lot of you watching right now who really wants to have this understanding na, oo, nalaman ko na siya as of the moment. Again, our goal is not just to understand or identify. It's for us to familiarize and tame it. And tame it means neutralizing it. So again, feel free to have a screenshot for this question. And if you think you need the processing again, please know that you can connect with us through 0917-586-1661, or I will be sharing my page and my FB group later on so we can connect. All right? So as we move, after we learn or attain deepness, we will be moving to neutralize. Ayan. What does it looks like to neutralize? When you neutralize something, all right, you make it harmless or ineffective, usually by applying its opposite force, like pouring water on a fire. That's how neutralize is. Ganito na lang po, for everyone who's watching, how does a neutralizing or anong itsura ng pag-neutralize when it comes to having that kind of a situation? Eto, maliit na sitwasyon lang po. Imagine yourself, nagbabaga po tayo, gusto natin mag-barbecue, nagbabaga po tayo ng mga charcoal. All right? And have you experienced na minsan while you are doing or cooking the barbecue or ano ba yung gagawin natin, minsan yung apoy sobrang lumalakas tapos nasusunog yung ating niluluto during that time. So what our immediate response, di ba? Ayan, sa mga nanay, sa mga nagluluto dyan, usually we grab a small amount of water and squish it in to dun sa charcoal. But the goal is to just turn off the fire. Pero yung mismong baga sa charcoal, that is something that we really need. So we don't really kill it. We just neutralize it by applying same opposite force. So that's how it is look like. All right. So if you are just wondering, let's discuss it this further with how it is to neutralize. Actually, this is something that you can do whenever you have encountered or answered the first part, in the categorize and also with attaining deepness, of course. Now we can proceed with this 6 quick step tips to neutralize your anger. All right? Six lang po ito. This is so something that you can really keep in your notebook if you're writing right now, or it is something that you can share sa mga kapatid natin, or it is something that you want to to give for those who are interested of knowing. First off, recognize your anger. Ayan. Be consciously aware of your emotional recipe of anger. All right? Ano ba yan, coach? Ano ba yung mga pwedeng recipe na sinasabi natin when it comes to recognize angers? It talks about yung tense muscle, yung alam mo when you speak, minsan when you shout, and you are starting to have a tense muscle everywhere, but usually in the neck. Yung lumalabas yung ugat, yung galit na galit. Sometimes yung closing of fist, and yung alam mo yung nagpapatunog ng fist at that moment. And sometimes it is just a loud voice of expression. By the way, at this point, ako, one of the things that I recognize when in anger, yung shinare ko kanina, is yung loud voice. Yan. Kasi I find it really natural during the time we express in our culture, in our family, na parang alam mo yung high pitch, yung alam mo yung you just want to share, pero parang galit na ba siya? Pero hindi, normal lang yan sa amin. Sometimes we connotate it like that. But now, because of this drip content and what I'm sharing with you, it is something that I've learned to be conscious about in terms of dealing. All right? And next, number two, remove yourself. All right? Okay. I want to have really give you a clarity or a picture of how you remove yourself. Hindi po ito yung isolation. Again, it's never about the isolation. What's removing yourself means is, for example, you are in the situation already, all right? Yung alam mong you're close of punching someone's face, or you're close of shouting someone's face at this moment. Tapos may mga group of people that they're with you, you remove yourself in the situation. Pero if you can refrain from walking out, all right, or if you can refrain in doing such things, just compose yourself. Nakakatulong po yung yung shinare ni Master Coach A na breathing exercise in mental wellness at work. Yung pag-inhale at exhale, and you inhale something that is good and exhale something that isn't. All right? So it's really something that helps. Lalo na po yung pag nag-inhale kayo and you hold it for 5 to 10 seconds, and then you exhale it slowly. All right? It is something that is really, really helpful during this time, because you want to really remove yourself only to the situation. But again, it doesn't mean that you remove yourself to everyone else who wants to support, to guide, and to be with you, especially your life coach. Kung nakapag-partner ka na ngayon sa isang life coach, do not remove yourself in the program because of that. I really encourage you to run to the process because it's important. Minsan kasi we just want to shut off. Ako, I have this kind of experience lang din, that every time that I feel something that's parang uncontainable, overflowing anger or something like that, minsan I tend to shut off for 2 to 3 days. Like, I don't want to talk to anyone. But what I've learned is really it is important for us to understand our number three. We identify the triggers. All right. So it is really important for us that when we move to the space of the situation of where the anger is being already started or firing off, and you put yourself like nagpunta ka lang, nagpause ka, you go in a nature place like what I usually do. I identify now the triggers. What really triggers me is for us to understand and identify again the triggers that we have in our life. All right. You can ask this question as well. What exactly trigger ayan, my anger during this time of pausing? What did I respond to the process? All right. And as we move to number four, evaluate situation rationally. Alright? Kaya po tinuturo ko yung yung ulo ko dito because minsan we connotate just anger as in here, like basta emotion somewhere around here. Sumisikip yung dibdib mo, yung alam mo yung it's something manifested. But as you identify the triggers, this is the best time to move to evaluate the situation rationally. Alright? Kaya po tayo kailangang mag-pause or just move around or lumayong muna tayo sa sitwasyon na nakakagalit. It is because we need to really evaluate it rationally after we identify the triggers. All right? Challenge yourself when you are in the evaluation situation. All right? Challenge yourself to view the situation in different angle or in more helpful and beneficial way. All right? So really, as we believe that anger is really a gift from God, like I do, it is something that we just need to find its benefits. How can I really use this anger in terms of expression? Maybe kapag na kapag may nararamdaman ka strong emotion like frustration, nagja-jogging ka, nag-exercise ka. Ako usually I do that. Like when I want to think, I want to have time for myself, I really run. When in running, alam mo yun, you as a person would be able to think, or you can just draw something that would make you suit your emotions, calmness, ayan. Stuff like that is really encouraged. But again, it is really important to ask also yourself that it is really worth being angry about what you identified in number three as you move on. And how could I deal with it when it happens again without being angry. So lahat po yan, we're using our heads to really communicate at this certain moment, okay, in time. So as we move to number five, we have select an appropriate response, all right? You always, all right, tell this to yourself. You always have a choice. We always have a choice. Alright? Kaya tayo nagsiselect kasi merong options. Meron tayong choices to either avoid, control, release, or even redirect or anger yung manifestation niya in a more optimal ways. Katulad po nung sinabi ko sa number 4, sometimes you just want to respond in jogging. Yan, jajag na lang ako. Pag napagod ako, di okay na. Ano na eh, alam mo yung feeling mo na sweat off ko na yan. So na tanggal ko na yan, or maybe you want to draw something that represents that. Maybe you want to do something rationally that would equip you to understand. All right? And the last tip that I would like to share with you is learn from your experience. All right? Kung mapapansin nyo po, 1 to 5, it is something that is repeatable in different situation of your life. I'm We are not just giving anger just one phase. It could be a different phase for you. And you can repeat these tips that we have shared to you repetitively in 1 to 5 as long as you learn from your experience. All right? Again, your anger is different from his anger, and his different and his anger could be different in others' anger. So hindi po to magkakamuka, but there is certain things that you can look at if it's also already being manifested. All right? So as we move forward, ibabalik po natin that understanding of anger is a gift that is never meant to be suppressed. All right? But manage and embrace, for it is purposely, all right? Ulitin ko po, it is purposely there to serve its purpose. Yan. Purposely purpose. Kumbaga, it is something that is given to us, given to me, given to everyone to not be suppressed. Kasi mostly, ang nagiging situation is that when we encounter anger, we express it and then we suppress the knowing and familiarization, and then it keeps on rolling back and back. And sooner than we know, sometimes it really affects yung relationship. Maybe you are in the space right now that feeling that anger is somewhat a challenge for you. Maybe it is your default response now in the situation. And maybe you are shouting really for a help and guidance towards it. Know that here in our tribe as certified life coaches in the Coffee Republic, it is a place that you can really be who you are, express who you are, embrace who you are, and people would still love you. But the way of how love goes is sharing what needs to be improved through the platform of life coaching. So again, let's us imagine this. All right? Babalik ko na po si Mr. Anger. Ayan. Most of us, ito po kasi yung form ni Mr. Anger sa Inside Out. Pagka medyo normal pa siya, yung alam mong normal na hindi pa siya outbursting with anger, yung umaapo yung ulo niya. This is how he looks like. Alright? And pag nag-outburst siya, ganito na. Alright? How many of you are intentional to notice bakit pag anger yung umaapoy sa ulo yung representation? Have you ever think of that situation na ang original design ko naman ito eh, yung medyo gigil lang, yung nakakagat lang sa ngipin. Pero dahil sa outburst, we failed to look at what it is there in the fire. What is the really goodness that there is it in the fire? So, to our viewers, to my dear fellow coaches, and to our watching the Cup Brewers like right now, what my heart is really telling me and telling would like to share with everyone is for us to be intentional and looking what is outbursting out there and how does it represent, how would it help, and how it would be blessed others in the situation, even yourself. All right? So, as we move closer to seeing, Coach, ano talaga yung umaapoy? Coaches, ano pa talaga yung umaapoy when we do anger? Let me share this to you. Those anger or fire in your head is your crucible moment. Maybe you are thinking, Coach, ano ba yung crucible? All right. Ang crucible po, in terms of mechanics, it is a ceramic or metal container in which metals or other substances may be melted or subjected to a very high temperatures. Kaya pala siya lumalabas, coach. Kaya pala ang taas-taas ng apoy niya sa ulo. It's because it is subjected to a very high temperature that we called anger. All right? But know that the process of crucible is this. The process is the substance will be separate the impurities until only, all right, the purest form or metal or substance will resurface in the middle. Kung iisipin nyo po para kayong merong malaking palayok na talagang niluluto nyo sa high intensity or kung ano man yung container na naiisip nyo at this moment, tapos po, 'di ba meron siyang metal. Ngayon po, lahat ng mga madudumi, yung mga dirt, lahat po 'yun magre-resurface sa gilid, tataas po siya. Only the pure and the real you will be remaining at the center of that. So the question is, how we are intentionally embracing this crucible moment when we are being angered. Kasi remember, bakit coach, lagi naman akong umaapoy pero kung crucible yan, why is that I never get out of this? Because remember, when you're in crucible moment, and then you just let the fire down, lahat po ng impurities na umangat sa gilid, babalik po siya ulit at magiging siyang metal or substance. So, at this moment, if you're believing that sometimes yung ulo ni Mr. Anger kanina represents a crucible in one part of your life right now, please take your this moment to really embrace yourself. Like, self, I'm in the process of this every time I feel anger. I'm in the process of supposed to be removing impurities, identifying the triggers and really categorizing what it is that triggers that. I am given that opportunity because of that high, very high temperature that we have. And it is something that it is important for us to respond. Maybe you can grab some stick. Maybe you can hire a life coach and help or support or journey with you to remove the impurities little by little every time this is hitting up. Every time your anger is getting the most of you, maybe it is affecting your relationship right now that you can't really say something without that mood of anger. Yung para kang, yung common na sinasabi, boss, lagi kang galit, or sir, laging kang galit, o kaya talking to your friends. Ba't parang galit yan? Parang laging, parang pinaglihis sa sama ng loob. But remember, we can do something. Whether you are a life coach, whether you are an educator, whether you are just watching this, learning the tips, learning to identify, learning to categorize will equip us. And that is our heart in our tribe to really educate, because we believe that in your anger, we should not respond in sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. Mostly, when we look at the picture, maybe you're just wanting to express yourself. Tapos with that high emotions, compassionate, na mukhang parang iba na yung receive. Maybe because of that outbursting anger, another partner is already crying right now. Or because of that outburst of expression, that you not knowing that it is anger, someone is really hurt right now. And you can really be intentional until you understand how this anger be manifested, and how anger can be really neutralized, and the perspective of looking anger in different angle. Again, coaches, it is really a wonderful opportunity, actually, a time being with everyone. I'm really enjoying this. And if you believe that kind of anger, especially in a relationship, because by the way, I'm a relationship coach. I focus on helping singles identify, o yung mga singles na nape-pressure na kada okasyon na lang lagi na lang sinasabihan na, oy, may kailan ka mag-aasawa, oy, may boyfriend ka na ba, oy, um, alam mo yon, dahil sa sobrang kinakamusta nila yon, gusto mo na lang wag pumunta, o kaya kahit birthday, kahit sobrang importante mong tao, but because you are being asked, because you're asking me that things, parang you're putting pressure on me. And nakakagalit at times na gusto mo na lang, alam mo yun, di kayo na lang mag-party, kayo na lang pumunta. Or maybe you are in that space that being a single, it's like you are really inflicting yourself right now, or being in a relationship, that you're really having that kind of anger within you, na iniisip mo na lang na, no, hindi ako pwedeng kumalma. Kasi galit nga ako eh. Kakalma ako, galit ako. Kailangan kong ilabas to. But let me, in this journey, like, I would like to offer my hand to those people, all right, who wants to see the greatness in calmness, even in the midst of anger, with an absolute ease. Ayan. Ease and peace. Ayan. Ease and grace program that we have, which we will identify through, of course, Master Coach A. Thank you for letting me have this bundle. Coaching bundle called Ease and Grace. Being calm and cool and collected. Ayan. Even when the pressure or high temperature of anger is on. All right. So if you are that person, you can reach me at 0925 759 5773. You don't need to journey with it alone. Our certified life coaches like us is really deliberately and joyfully want to help you in this process. But you need to take action. Grab your phone, save my number, text me or call me any day, uh, any anytime. Just let me know how we can help you in your journey. All right? And also, I am inviting everyone to join me, ayan, in my FB group, Dating Perfectly Even If You're Not Perfect. Ayan, for those people who wants to understand dating, kahit you never dated before or you just want to date someone, it is the I'm really sharing to you this FB group. I currently have 120 members in this group, and I'm really inviting everyone to hop in. Let's talk about what we can do in dating and really have that kind of mindset that it's really something that we don't need to beat ourselves. We don't need to really be high on temperature. We don't really need to shout, to verbalize the hurt that we feel during during the course of selection, identification, and also being with someone we love. It is really a great opportunity that I would like to share with you in the course of dating perfectly. And also my life coach page as well is life coach Ed Ramos. You can message me. Of course, I am the one who's responding to it. So wala po siyang AI, wala po siyang something. Just message me anytime, and as soon as I have received it, I would be gladly to respond to you. Again, maraming salamat po. Thank you everyone, to my fellow coaches and also to our entrepreneurs, and to everyone who's watching this. Maraming salamat po for giving this wonderful opportunity of having this in the space of understanding. Again, see you again on the next day of Cup Brewing Live. Again, maraming salamat po. Love, bam, boom. Love, bam, boom. Have a blessed afternoon. Bye-bye.